The Henderson family Christmas party sparkled with wealth, crystal glasses catching light from the imported chandelier, golden ornaments reflecting satisfied faces, and designer gifts piled high under a perfectly decorated tree. Everyone except me had arrived in luxury cars, bearing presents in designer shopping bags. I placed my small, plainly wrapped packages beneath the tree, watching my sister Amanda's lips curl into a familiar smirk. "Still making homemade gifts, Sarah?" She adjusted her diamond bracelet, a gift from her investment banker husband. "How creative." I smoothed down my simple black sweater, checking my phone as another alert from my development team flashed. Tomorrow's announcement would reshape the tech industry, but for now I let them bask in their presumed financial superiority. "The gifts are practical," I replied, thinking of the quantum processors humming in labs across Silicon Valley. "Practical." Mom sighed, swirling her champagne. "Darling, you're 36. When I was your age I had a beach house. Your sister has 3 properties. And you're still living in that tiny apartment playing with computers." Dad poured himself another glass of scotch, a $2,000 bottle he'd prominently displayed. "The tech industry is oversaturated. You should have stayed in finance like your sister." "My work is going well," I said quietly, watching the time. 16 hours until the market opened. Amanda pulled out her phone, displaying her investment portfolio. "Speaking of finance, my tech stocks are up 40% this quarter. How's your little startup doing? Still burning through that seed money?" I checked my watch, a basic model that hid its custom quantum processor. "We're meeting our development goals." "Goals?" Amanda laughed. "The only goal that matters is profit. When was the last time you even drew a salary?" Mom touched her pearls, her nervous tell. "There's still a junior analyst position open at Amanda's firm. At least it's a real job." "Thank you, but I'm satisfied with my current work." I glanced at my phone again. The final IPO documents were ready. "Satisfied?" Dad scoffed. "You had every advantage. Top schools, connections through my firm. You could have been managing portfolios by now. Instead, you're tinkering with computers in some garage." "It's actually a quantum research facility," I corrected, thinking of our sprawling campus. "Research?" Amanda snorted. "Research doesn't pay bills. How are you even affording Christmas presents this year?" "I manage," I replied, remembering the billions in pre-IPO commitments. "She probably made them on her computer," Amanda stage whispered to her husband, who chuckled on cue. "Can't afford real presents." The family butler appeared with more champagne. "Pardon the interruption, but CNBC is reporting some interesting tech news. Perhaps you'd like to turn on the financial networks." "Not now, James," Amanda waved him off. "We were just discussing Sarah's career choices." "You know," her husband chimed in, "our firm is looking for IT support staff. Entry level, of course, but it's a foot in the door." I checked the time again. The embargo on the news would lift in exactly 3 minutes. "The tech industry requires vision," Dad lectured, warming to his favorite topic. "Anyone can code in their basement. Real success needs capital, connections, market understanding dash." The massive TV screen in the living room suddenly lit up with breaking news. Dad always kept it tuned to financial networks. Breaking. Quantum Tech Solutions announces revolutionary breakthrough in quantum computing. IPO set for tomorrow morning. The family fell silent. Sources confirmed that Sarah Chin, age 36, will become the youngest female tech billionaire when markets open. The company's quantum processing technology is being called the next technological revolution. Dad's Scotch glass slipped, expensive liquor spreading across the imported tablecloth. But you work in a garage," Amanda whispered, her investment portfolio suddenly looking very small on her phone screen. I stood slowly, straightening my simple sweater, made with quantum-enhanced smart fabric from our materials division. "Actually, I run a quantum computing empire. Those homemade gifts, they contain more computing power than everything in this house combined." "That's impossible," Mom breathed. "You can't even afford a proper car." "I don't need one. Our company has supersonic transport pods." I gathered my things as another message from my executive team appeared. "Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a morning bell ceremony to prepare for. The New York Stock Exchange waits for no one." Amanda grabbed her phone, frantically pulling up investment sites. "Quantum Tech. That's your company?" The one everyone's been trying to buy into. Yes, I replied, heading for the door. Though I should warn you, your firm's buy-in requests were denied. We're very selective about our investors. But, all those times you borrowed money for rent. Mom stammered. Market research trips to our global facilities. I paused at the doorway. When Dad? You might want to update your portfolio tomorrow. Quantum computing is about to make traditional tech stocks very obsolete. The next morning, the New York Stock Exchange hummed with unprecedented energy. Traders crowded the floor, their eyes fixed on the massive screens displaying quantum tech's pre-market activity. The opening share price had already been revised upward 3 times. From the ceremonial balcony, I watched my family arrive, their faces ashen beneath expensive makeup. The email I'd sent at dawn had been clear. As my closest living relatives, their presence was required for the bell ceremony. After all, this was a family business, just not the kind they'd imagined. Miss Chen. My CFO appeared with a tablet. Final pricing is set. We're looking at a $200 billion market cap at opening. I nodded, scanning the numbers. While they'd mocked my garage tinkering, I'd been building something revolutionary. Each borrowed rent payment had funded quantum research. Every failed prototype had brought us closer to cracking quantum supremacy. The trading floor buzzed with anticipation. Amanda stood awkwardly by a pillar, her investment banker husband looking lost without his usual air of superiority. Mom kept touching her pearls, while Dad clutched a financial report, his hands shaking as he read about our technology patents. It's time, my CFO announced. I adjusted my blazer, embedded with quantum sensors that monitored everything from room temperature to market fluctuations, and approached the podium. The crowd fell silent. Good morning, I began, my voice carrying across the historic space. Today marks a new era in computing. In the front row, Amanda gripped her designer handbag purchased with profits from the tech stocks that were about to become obsolete. Mom sat beside her, still struggling to process how her struggling daughter had orchestrated this. Quantum tech's breakthrough isn't just about processing power, I continued. It's about reimagining what's possible. The screens behind me displayed our quantum architecture, technology so advanced it made traditional supercomputers look like pocket calculators. Dad's face paled as he recognized components from the toys I'd shown him years ago. Our quantum processors can solve in seconds what classical computers would take millennia to calculate. This isn't an incremental improvement, it's a quantum leap. Amanda's husband loosened his tie as market projections flashed across the screens. His firm had tried repeatedly to buy pre-IPO shares, unaware that his sister-in-law was behind the rejections. But this is just the beginning, I announced. Today we're also unveiling our Quantum Innovation Initiative, providing access to quantum computing resources for researchers worldwide. Mom's perfectly maintained composure cracked. She'd always insisted that success meant hoarding advantages. Now her daughter was democratizing the most powerful technology in history. Questions? I asked, knowing there would be many. A CNBC reporter raised his hand first. Ms. Chen, your technology seems to have appeared overnight. How long has this been in development? I smiled, thinking of all those Christmas parties where they'd pitted my computer hobby. Great breakthroughs appear sudden to those who weren't paying attention. We've been developing this for 15 years, starting in what my family fondly called the garage. Another reporter stood. Your quantum encryption patents are revolutionary. Why keep them secret for so long? Innovation requires discretion, I replied, watching Amanda wince. Especially when you're rewriting the rules of computing. The questions continued for 20 minutes. With each answer, I could see my family's worldview crumbling. Their understanding of success based on traditional finance and visible wealth was being upended by my quantum revolution. After the Q&A, I noticed Dad studying our technical specifications display. The processing architecture. He said as I approached, it's impossible. The calculations we thought would take centuries. Take microseconds, I finished. That's what I was tinkering with while you were pushing investment banking. Amanda approached cautiously, her phone displaying our soaring stock price. Sarah, those Christmas presents you gave us. Quantum-enhanced prototypes, I confirmed. That digital photo frame you called cheap last year? It has more processing power than your firm's entire data center. And the rent money, Mom started, was for our quantum lab in Switzerland, I said. Though I suppose I can afford more than rent now. The opening bell was minutes away. Traders were literally bouncing with anticipation, while analysts frantically updated their projections. One more thing, I added, turning back to my family. Those junior positions you kept offering me? I'm afraid we don't have anything that, entry-level. Our quantum systems require quite advanced expertise. The bell rang. The floor erupted in cheers as our stock symbol flashed across every screen. Initial trades were already exceeding expectations. Now, if you'll excuse me, I said, checking my quantum-linked watch. I have a company to run. Feel free to stay and watch. After all, it's just playing with computers, just with a few $1 billion more in funding. As I walked away, I heard Amanda whisper to her husband, "We should have asked what she was actually building in that garage." I smiled, heading back to my team. The quantum age was dawning and I held the keys to its kingdom. Not bad for someone who couldn't afford real presents. 6 months later, I stood in my quantum-enhanced office atop the Quantum Tech Tower, watching holographic displays dance across smart glass windows. Our stock had tripled since the IPO, making traditional tech companies scramble to catch up with technology they barely understood. My phone buzzed, another message from Amanda, her 10th this week. Like the others, it could wait. Family dynamics had become subsidiary to restructuring the global computing landscape. Ms. Chin, my executive assistant, materialized via quantum hologram. The quarterly projections have been processed. Our quantum systems are now handling 70% of global computing tasks. I nodded, scanning the data floating in augmented space around me. Traditional computing was becoming obsolete faster than even we had predicted. The Garage project had reshaped the digital world. Also, she added, your father's investment firm requested another meeting about potential quantum integration. Of course they did. Since the IPO, Dad's company had been desperately trying to remain relevant in a quantum-dominated market. Their classical computing infrastructure was becoming as outdated as steam engines. Schedule them for next month, I decided, after we announced the neural interface launch. A soft chime indicated another visitor. Mom entered, looking small despite her designer outfit. Sarah, darling, the quantum processor you gave us for Christmas, it's extraordinary. Just a basic home model, I replied, remembering how they'd mocked my homemade gifts. The enterprise versions are somewhat more powerful. She wandered to the window, watching quantum-powered transport pods zip between buildings. We never understood, did we? What you were creating. No, I agreed, manipulating a holographic model of our next-generation processor. You were too focused on traditional metrics of success. Your sister. Mom hesitated. Amanda's investment firm is struggling. The quantum shift has made most of their trading algorithms obsolete. That tends to happen when you're running calculations 1 billion times faster than everyone else, I said, not unkindly. Though we do offer quantum computing courses for finance professionals. She's welcome to enroll. The quantum intercom pulsed. Ms. Chin, the board is ready for the global strategy presentation. In the boardroom, my family sat among the world's leading quantum scientists and tech visionaries. Amanda looked uncomfortable in her business suit, now hopelessly traditional compared to our quantum-enhanced smart clothing. Dad kept staring at the holographic displays, trying to comprehend how his computer-obsessed daughter had leapfrogged generations of technology. Let's begin, I announced, activating the quantum presentation system. Today's agenda: the integration of quantum computing into human neural networks. The room filled with interactive holograms demonstrating our breakthrough. Direct brain-to-quantum interfaces that would make current smartphones look like abacuses. As you can see, I continued, we're not just changing computing, we're evolving human capability itself. Amanda stopped taking notes, her tablet suddenly seeming as obsolete as paper and pencil. Dad's hands trembled as market projections showed traditional tech companies becoming extinct-level irrelevant. Next quarter, I announced, we launched the Quantum Education Initiative. Free quantum computing access for every school globally. Mom's carefully maintained composure wavered. How many times had she told me to stop wasting time teaching coding to underprivileged kids? Questions? I asked, concluding the presentation. The room remained silent until Amanda raised her hand tentatively. Yes. The quantum trading systems. She began, her voice small. Would you teach me how they work? My firm's survival might depend on it. I studied my sister, seeing genuine humility replace her former condescension. Of course. That's what computer geeks do, we share knowledge. The irony brought knowing smiles to my quantum scientists' faces. After the meeting, Dad lingered behind. Sarah, the quantum encryption patents. They're worth more than every investment I've made in my career. I know, I replied simply. That's why we're making them open source. Innovation shouldn't be hoarded. Standing at my window later that evening, I watched quantum light paint patterns across the city skyline. Our processors now powered everything from climate control to traffic flow, while quantum AI solved problems humanity had struggled with for centuries. My phone displayed another alert. Quantum tech achieves human AI synthesis. Tech visionary Sarah Chen redefines human potential. I smiled, remembering Amanda's taunt. Can't afford real presents. The presents I was giving now were beyond price. Quantum computing for all, democratized innovation, enhanced human capability. The Garage project had grown up, dragging humanity into a new era of possibility. Tomorrow we'd announce another breakthrough. But tonight I enjoyed the view from my quantum tower, so much more expansive than their limited financial perspectives had ever been. In the quantum age, power wasn't measured in dollars or status symbols. It was measured in computational capability and human potential. And by those metrics, my little computer hobby had changed everything. Not bad for someone who couldn't afford real presents.